I'm Reverend Yvonne Delk. I am the founding director of the Center for African American Theological Studies in Chicago, Illinois.
You're a pioneer in many ways. Talk to us about being one of the first African American ordained in the United Churches of Christ. Tell us about that journey as an African American woman.
It has been one of the most unbelievable journeys of my life. From the time that I received a call way back when I was in high school and began to wrestle with God's call on my life for ministry, I have been on a journey. I am now in my 74th year of life and 50 years of ministry. And my first instinct was to say, God, I'm not worthy. God, I don't have what it takes for ministry. But I say God's yes for my life was much stronger than my no's. All of the reasons why I could come up with why I didn't think I had what it takes, God kept coming back to me, affirming in me, you are my daughter, called by my name. And then I went on to seminary, equipped myself, and the doors began to open. I've always believed that the will, wherever the will of God takes you, God's grace will hold you in those places. My calling has always been in social justice ministries, and I've been able to move in so many different places to lift up a word of justice, hope, and love. And I'm so pleased. I came early, but I know there were so many who came even before me. When I think about Sojourner Truth, I know she carved the path that allowed me to stand and witness. When I think about Harriet Tubman, when I think about Mary McLeod Bethune, when I think about so many other women who came early, I stand on their shoulders. And now, knowing that there's so many women who come to me to say, I remember when you preached a sermon in the 60s. This was early, before women were going to seminary. And then to look around, and in the 70s, many, many, many women were coming into ministry. So to be able to be used by God to preach the word, to be able to be used by God to stand in those movements and those places where people were crying out for justice. I sat at the table in the 60s with National Committee of Black Churchmen when they were asking, what does it mean to be black and Christian? I was sitting at the table in the 70s with the Black Theology Project when we were asking the question, what is the relevancy of the black church to the really many issues that we are dealing with in the midst of the times in which we live? I like to say we had a Kairos document in the 70s calling us to witness and to action and to stand with folk where the justice issues are so prevalent. It's been a marvelous journey. I am so grateful to all the paths and everything that God has opened up. And I want to say one more thing. I am so excited at this conference to see the many women who are coming along, to see the seminarians. They are on fire. They're ready to be pastors and priests and prophets. They're ready to serve the needs of our people. So it makes me feel that the journey I started over 50 years ago now is in place where many others who are coming along are saying, here we are, ready to move. It's like a circle, and the circle continues. So I celebrate it.
So give us a little bit of your assessment of the church today and maybe the opportunities or the things that women still struggle with in black church.
The issue really still is that for many women who are coming along, it's hard to get placement in the black church. For the most part, many of our men and our women still feel that the male model is the model that's there. Many of them have testimonies. They have placed their names in and they have been interviewed. But when it finally comes down, if it's a male or them, the choices in many places, not all, are the choices for male. So really trying to open up search committees' hearts, opening up the hearts of women as well in the black church so that they can see us as being equipped by God to lead as pastors of their churches. It's still the ground that we've got to pave. It's still doors that we've got to open. And so that's an issue that we face. Also, men and women who come in as associates, once they've been associates for a long period of time, there are not many places where they can go in the midst of the journey, because the ceiling is still there. So we're still knocking at the door of the black church to try to open open it up to fully receive the gifts. In this conference, the gifts are so many and marvelous. Preaching gifts, teaching gifts, affirming gifts, working in community gifts, so many gifts that are there. But sexism is still real, and our ability to really fully receive the gifts of all of our women are really, in fact, still a goal, I think, that we've got to achieve. So I think coming out of this conference is several things. One, building a support network for women as they continue to move so that they got folk around them supporting them. Two, finding out where opportunities are. Finding out where opportunities are. And then being sort of like a clearinghouse where we can send those opportunities. One of the things that I'm excited about is we had here this week PICO, Partners for Community Organizing. And they, in fact, are looking for women who are committed to justice ministries. They're looking for women ordained who can, in fact, connect, perhaps not from the church base, but from the community base, who will be willing to go to the communities, to be in the communities. So there are opportunities that are beginning to open. I also would like to think that in this conference, where you got so many who are here, pastors, that they are beginning to understand that if we're going to be in this together, they're going to be opening up supportive, affirming women for pastorates as well. So there are many different areas where we're still going to have to wrestle with. We're going to have to look at how we really begin to open up hearts and minds so that women are fully appreciated. But ain't no question, they're gifted.